Sounds delicious.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a Telly and a Tweed Deluxe sound pretty good together.
Yeah. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Dan.
We have like a big old wall of old Tweed here.
Yeah.
This is your personal collection of Tweed stuff? Ish?
I guess so. This one's not technically mine, but the owner hasn't asked for it back in a while. So
cool.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. Well, I would say, like a lot of guitar players, I'm familiar with the Tweed sound and the sort of legend and lore of them, but I don't know what actually makes these amps sound like they do. Why are they so cool?
Well, Dan, I think they're so cool because they sound really good, and the way they're built is really awesome too. You know, they're point-to-point hand wired. A lot of them have kind of unrefined circuits in them compared to kind of the later Fender stuff. You know, you do get better at building amps.
Right.
But the early stuff just sounds awesome for many different reasons. I was just playing through this, I believe it's a 58 5E7 Tweed Deluxe with a Jensen P12Q Alnico speaker in it, which is one of my favorite speakers, and new old stock tubes and all that. But they just sound right.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to try to put into words like what the Tweed thing is, sound-wise, feel-wise, how would you?
Say like raw, unrefined, grindy. There's kind of a lot of like awesome mid-range grit in the bass. I mean, the treble.
All frequencies?
All the frequencies are really great.
Well, should we hear a little bit of this Tweed guy? We heard that in Open Jam, but like what else is going on here?
Yeah, so it's kind of set up as like a mid-range grind thing. There's a trick with this one that I kind of want to show.
Okay.
So it's I'm in the instrument input, and the mic volume is at half. And if I turn up the mic volume, you can actually hear the trebles and mid-range start to go away towards the top.
Yeah.
So, like this. It starts to kind of disappear.
Why does it do that?
Just because the circuit does it. It's very interactive with the two inputs. So, but the cool thing about it is like you can get kind of a more scooped tone doing it that way, which is interesting, and kind of a amp that's supposed to have wide open mid range.
Right.
Going to go even further.
Yeah,
so that has like a little bell in the bass, a little grunt. Not a whole lot of mid range and a lot on top. So
it's way spankier than I would think of for Tweed amp.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And it's just a really cool feature of these Tweed Deluxes specifically. I don't think it was on purpose, but I know a lot of people use that particular sound in these amps.
That's great. I'm wondering if we should hear this just because it's so classic with maybe a Les Paul or something.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Jump cut.
Jump cut.
All right, so I opened up the mid-range a little bit more on this, and here's some chunky Les Paul into Tweed Deluxe stuff.
That's gnarly.
Yeah, pretty classic Neil tones.
Yeah, very cool.
Yep, and he uses like a Firebird pickup in one of these positions. I forget, but kind of, I don't know. I think it sounds like the thing.
Yeah, totally. Very cool. What else? I mean, it's such a straightforward piece of gear. Like, is there anything else we need to know about these? I know there's a ton of variations, or it seems like there are, you know, narrow panel, wide panel, TV, like.
Yeah, the biggest difference for me is that some of the earlier variations had octal preamp tubes in it, which are kind of bigger 8-pin. They kind of look like power tubes actually, and those they sound pretty similar actually, but they always sounded a little bit darker, maybe a little bit more detailed. Like they're actually really great clean amps, and this is the 12AX7 variety that just sounds. It was supposedly like a student model. I'm just trying to imagine, a student plugging into that and just getting those fire breather sounds.
Totally. Or also in the late 50s, I'm sure the idea was clean sounds, but people figured out they could plug a Les Paul with higher output pickups into a.
Yep. I think this is kind of meant to be clean.
Yeah. But it's oh so right dirty.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the Jensen speaker. That's kind of the big secret for Tweed stuff, in my opinion. And the interesting transformers, too. Oh, yeah?
You say just a little bit about that?
Brian's going to get mad if I mess it up.
That's Brian Sowers.
They had a bunch of different output transformers they put in Tweed Deluxes. I know that Neil Young had a special version, a different version than is in a lot of them. And I think this has like the dual normal variety.
Gotcha.
I think Neil Young's is like supposedly bigger.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Tweed Deluxe.
What else do we got here?
Let's go to Jump Cut. Tweed Bandmaster. I keep wanting to say Bandmaster, but that's our product that we actually cloned this a few years ago.
Right.
This is probably my favorite Tweed amp.
Yeah.
It's got everything wrong with it. Like the power supply is just really gooey, and it's got a weird phase inverter, and the tone stack is a total nightmare. This particular amp has like a wrong component value in it, which I actually really like. But yeah, here's the Tweed Bandmaster.
Yeah, let's plug into it too. That sounds incredible in the room.
Yeah.
The low end on that is so nice.
Yeah, it's like my favorite Tweed. It's great.
I see why.
Yeah, it's just a weirdo. So yeah, we did the Bandmaster, which was a clone of that. Sowers did the Transformers, and we had a slightly bigger cabinet, but man, pretty much sounds like that. And yeah, I think I've seen a couple bouncing around on Reverb recently. I'm just not sure people know what it is, but it's a 5E7 Bandmaster clone.
So good. It's a weirdo too because it's got 3 10-inch speakers.
3, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty strange impedance matching.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Scenario.
Yeah. And you cloned all the idiosyncrasies of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, down to the component, pretty much. Yep, our sounds like that, but just new.
Right. Yeah.
Like just new.
Do you, I mean, in all your experience with maintaining amps and seeing a lot of different stuff, is there a ton of variation in terms of like, I don't know, components aging or like amps sounding really individual at that age?
I mean, there is. And I feel like only a certain amount of it can be chalked up to components drifting.
Mhm.
I think since that's easier for people to understand, they usually gravitate towards like, well, they all sound different anyways.
Mhm.
They sound pretty similar to each other if they're healthy,
Right.
but they have to be actually dialed in and healthy to,
Gotcha.
then obviously there's some component variation. I think the really special ones, it comes down to the transformers and the speakers, like really well worn in Jensen speakers and old transformers are pretty great.
Stuff that's worn in but not worn out, kind of.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a situation where you've brought something like made it healthy again and it didn't sound as good as it did when it was kind of tired?
Yeah, I got kind of a funny story about that. It's similar.
Okay.
I had a friend bring me a Tweed Deluxe clone that Victoria made. I was a young amp tech. I think it was like my second year, and I started looking at it. I fixed whatever was wrong with it, and then I was like, these tubes are passing way too much current for what it's supposed to. According to the data sheets for the tubes, you're not supposed to run them over a certain amount. So I started messing with the resistor that biases the tubes that allows the current through, or kind of sets the idle current for everything.
Okay.
And I got it down to where it was 100% of the dissipation of the tube. And I was like, yeah, I did a good thing. I fixed Fender's design and handed it back to the guy. And I got a call a couple days later saying, sounds terrible. What did you do to my amp? It's like, well, I know it's not the bias thing because now it's right and before it was wrong. He brought it back in and it was totally the bias change that I had done to make it correct. And ever since then, I have not been too worried about tubes over dissipating.
Gotcha.
In tube guitar amps.
Right on.
Because, if you're going for like a good sound, I'll take good sound over like the tubes wearing out a little bit faster.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 times.
Absolutely.
So
that's very cool.
Lesson learned. So we're going to move on to this Fender Bassman. This isn't the 5F6A, which is what all the Marshalls were based on. This amp's kind of funny because it's a 410 version of this.
Interesting.
It's a little earlier version of the Bassman, and the circuits are very similar. Like they have a same tone stack and output section even. I think this has a different output transformer, but it's supposed to sound pretty similar to this, although this does have that weird component in it that's not quite right.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we'll listen to the Bassman from, I believe it's 56.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. It's hard to say with like older amps like this because like each specimen is a little different, but that sounds kind of like toothier and janglier than the Bandmaster does.
Yep, 100%.
Like a little more solid or tough.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hearing the same thing. But yeah, that's the collection of Tweed amps that lives at the shop, anyways.
Yeah, very cool.
So
what's the most influential thing about these on what you do or how you hear?
What I've really, I mean, these are kind of my first love, the Tweed Fenders.
Mm-hmm.
Circuit wise, I didn't really take much from them, but I really appreciate the sound and the touch sensitivity of them. Mm-hmm. And out of all the things, I think, the tube rectification as well. That's really important for the sag and the bloom of the notes, mm-hmm. and just making it feel like a living, breathing entity.
Yeah.
I really like the pine cabinets that these came with. Just lightweight. They're easy to pick up, and the way they resonate is just tops. Like I think of it like an acoustic guitar or something. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's great. So pretty much all our guitar amps, other than the really small ones, are made of pine.
Yeah.
And also the covering them with fabric. I mean, technically this is like a covering, mm-hmm. but I kind of started looking at fabrics to cover my stuff with because of this.
Yeah. I was okay, super nerdy. Do you think that mutes the resonance of the pine cabinet like just a little? Or like
I'm sure it does a little bit.
Some kind of,
but I tend not to worry about it too much.
Yeah.
Like if I heard like one of my amps and it sounded dark and woolly, I wouldn't immediately think, oh, it's because we covered it in like a fabric.
Yeah.
Or something. And we tend to like make that fabric very rigid with different types of like clear coat products. So I don't.
Right.
I tend to think it doesn't really make much of a difference. I'm sure there's people out there that would disagree.
You got to get that 50's new old stock tweed fabric.
Yeah.
For the tonal properties.
Yep. Yeah. I'm sure some troll has that somewhere in his garage. 100%.
Sweet. Well, thanks for the tour. It's really cool, and it's just a pleasure to hear these, iconic relics.
Yeah, it's always a good day when you get to blast a bunch of Tweed amps.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. You can drop some questions or comments in the comments.
Like and subscribe. Is that a thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
please. All right.
Later.
Bye-bye.